because she is about to squeeze through a 50 km drain. With her friend's help, the woman was forcefully pushed inside. Her body was all squished in. She moaned in pain. Her piercing cries echoed through the sewer. My skin hurt so much, but her pelvis was stuck on the rocks. The woman could hardly move down any further after everyone kept pressing down. Finally, enduring pain worse than childbirth, she successfully slipped through the opening into the sewer. Just when her companions thought she was swept away, the woman resurfaced, but she didn't go back to shore right away. Instead, she looked around. Her goal was to find the turret that had fallen into the water. Why were they trapped here? Why was the turret in this dirty sewer? This all started an hour ago. A strangely dressed man suddenly walked into the bar, coughing persistently, and went straight to the restroom. At first, no one paid attention. Everyone was doing their own thing, until a patron finished and left the diner. This scene frightened the passers-by. They scattered in all directions. In no time, the entire street was empty. Folks in the restaurant were scared to go out. The waiter thought to call the cops, but he found there was no signal at all. The skeptical janitor wanted to help the man. Unexpectedly, seconds later, he fell dead on the street. The restaurant erupted in chaos. They hurried to find a place to hide, fearing that they would be the next targets. They dreamed that soon the police would come to help them. Taking advantage of the moment, they turned on the TV. Strangely, there were no news reports about the gunfire. So everyone began to speculate. Some said it was a robbery. Others said it was a terrorist attack. Just then, the wealthy lady noticed something strange. She slowly walked towards the door. Then something eerie happened. The two doors at the entrance were suddenly gone. Even stranger was that even the bloodstains on the ground were completely clean. Is this a dream? Clearly not. Sophie couldn't even imagine. She just came to buy a cup of coffee, and now she's trapped here. Now, they recalled the person stuck in the bathroom too long, but the door was jammed shut. But the door wouldn't move. Force wasn't working. The man in the suit pulled out a gun and shot the lock off. The man was on the toilet, gasping. They thought he was high on drugs, so they planned to carry him out first, but Sophie noticed the syringe on the floor, and the man's ear was bleeding continuously. Just then, an armored vehicle arrived outside. Everyone thought it was coming to save them. They kept waving and shouting at the door. However, strangely, the heavily armed soldiers did not come to their aid. Instead, they placed tires at the bar entrance, and they ignited the tires with flamethrowers. Then they quickly left, but at that moment, the news reported on TV. It said there was a fire at the bar. Police and fire had blocked the area. That's when everyone understood. This was a deliberate fire set to cover up the shooting. Just when they were outraged, the man from the toilet walked out. He appeared swollen all over. His eyes looked like two bulbs. He seemed to have a bad illness. Then he collapsed heavily onto the ground. He left a warning, "Don't touch me," before dying instantly. The bearded man picked up his phone. He found he was an officer, and his phone contained many photos taken in Africa. Everyone feared he might have contracted the Ebola virus. To halt the spread, the government killed those leaving the bar. The waiter wanted to make a call to his wife before he died. During the argument, the two fell off their stools. Then, the bar owner told everyone, anyone who had touched the phone could catch the virus. Those who touched the body and phone were grouped. Since the suit guy had a handgun, everyone dared not disobey. But what they didn't know was the bar owner's decision would cost 3 of them their lives. To isolate those who had contacted the virus, the suit guy forced them to the basement at gunpoint, but the homeless man refused to go down. The clever bar owner persuaded him with a bottle of alcohol. Thus, 5 living people and 1 suspected infected body remained in the damn basement. Soon her breathing was quick. The waiter tried to calm her down, but the socialite insisted on banging on the basement door. In her haste, she knocked over a whole crate of bottles. Her companions quickly noticed the spilled liquor disappearing. The bearded man then noticed there was a drainage in the basement. A foul smell made them recoil, but the homeless man didn't care. He checks with an empty bottle of alcohol. He sees the water's not tea, so he gets ready to crawl through the hole into the sewer to escape. When he was left with only his pants, everyone realizes the sewer is also stinky, but the opening is too narrow. Homeless man's strong body just can't fit. The waiter forces him down with all his might. The bearded man also struggles to push him. In pain, he begins to scream. In the end, he has no choice but to give up. But just as everyone plans to pull him back up, homeless man is stuck like a cork. He can't move at all. At that moment, gunshots are heard from above. Frightened, they dare not move. To avoid being discovered, the bearded man turns off the basement lights, and then white smoke begins to seep through the basement door. Through the gap, they see a fierce fire has broken out outside. If this continues, it'll be finished in 2 minutes. The bartender says the sewer has air, so the urgent task is to pull the drifter up from the hole. Sophie also joins the effort. The 3 muster their strength and finally pull him up. He prepared to open the basement door. As a result, his palm got burned. Sophie had some medical training. She quickly wrapped it with a clean tissue. After half an hour, there was silence above. The bearded man then pried open the door with the broom. Outside, it was all in ashes, but no body was seen. At the same time, several people in white coats sealed the door. Soon after, several people climbed up. The bearded man acted with noise. He secretly hid the gun. The bartender also found the bar owner's ring on the floor. It confirmed that the three had been shot dead. She wanted to rush out the door, but her companion pulled her back. He warned that this foolish act could endanger everyone. Just when everyone was at a loss, they heard a buzzing sound. They followed the sound source. Sophie found the officer's phone under the public. At that moment, everyone felt a ray of hope. By checking the chat logs, they found the officer had a vaccine. But then Sophie raised a question. As there was a vaccine, the government wouldn't kill. They suspected the vaccine was still in trials. No time to think further. The urgent task was to find the vaccine the officer carried. The bartender started searching the officer, but he didn't find anything. Meanwhile, the clever hobo sneaked to the restroom. He found the vaccine under his coat. But they faced a problem now. There are only 4 vaccines for 5 people. While they were discussing what to do, the hobo secretly gave himself a shot. The bearded man saw and drew his gun, but considering the gunshot might alert others outside, he had no choice but to watch him finish the shot. But he was really angry. He charged and grappled with the hobo. At first, he had the upper hand, but soon the tables turned. The hobo, muscular all over, beat the bearded man into submission. He spat blood. He picked up the gun and instantly took control. The hobo punched him directly. As a result, the vaccine fell down the stairs. She picked up the vaccine with her mummy-like hand, but she accidentally dropped it into the sewer. This was a complete disaster. Everyone gathered around the small hole, looking at each other. The hobo just failed. Now everyone's eyes were on Sophie. She's the only one thin enough here, most likely to slip through and get the vaccine. So the bartender coated her in soybean oil. The woman met expectations, fitting through the tight hole. She got the vaccine, but those above wanted her to tie the vaccine to the wire. Sophie isn't dumb. She knew once the vaccine was enough, it wouldn't be for her. So she refused their request and said anyone wanting the vaccine should come down. With no option, the others slowly pried open the hole with pipes. Sophie hid the remaining antidote in the spot, and she went to a brightly lit area. Through the manhole cover scout, she saw a group of people in protective suits disinfecting the area. Startled, she fell right into the water. The bearded man also got through the hole, but the wealthy woman was too big to come down. Finally, with a few people's help, she was pulled down. At this moment, Sophie returned. The homeless man tried to climb up, but the bearded man yanked him down. Slowly, the water quieted down. After the 2 gunshots, the bearded man surfaced. Now there are 4 people and 3 antidotes. He still faced a tough choice. Sophie told him to drop the gun, but he wouldn't budge, and threatened with the bartender's life made Sophie let them to find the cure. During the search, as they passed through a dark area, the socialite pushed the bartender into the water, shouting where he was. She actually held his head down in the water. The bearded man fired a shot. They then saw the socialite's plan and was caught. But he couldn't do it. So the socialite took the bearded man's gun and went to a dark place to end it herself. Finally, they got the antidote, but at that moment, they heard the sound of coins dropping. Following the sound, they turned back, only to find 2 coins had been placed over the socialite's eyes. Could there be someone else here? That's right, the homeless man wasn't dead. He hit the bartender on the head with the rod, and he dropped dead on the spot. Sophie and the bearded man sprinted away. The homeless man kept chasing them, but he seemed injured and was struggling. Finally, the 2 spotted a staircase. Sophie climbed up first. The slower bearded man was ambushed by the homeless man. The bearded man, in pain, kicked him away. But Sophie broke a step at that moment. She almost fell but unfortunately lost the antidote. The bearded man knew he wouldn't survive. He luckily gave the antidote to Sophie. He helped Sophie a lot in this episode. In the end, he chose to die with the vagabond. In the end, out of 10, only Sophie survived. The surrounding pedestrians looked at her curiously. A kind old lady draped a coat over her. No one knew what she had endured in just 2 hours. The actress truly put in tremendous effort for this film.